This is so great to be talking about how we amplify our work, how we work together, and we'll be reviewing some things. Will be review for some people and new to others. We want to cross-pollinate and bring more people together and learn from each other. And we also want to introduce another way of amplifying our work, which is using social media more assertively, perhaps, and more regularly. So I'm just really thrilled to see everybody here. I'm Leslie Alden. I'm on the policy, what are we called, Wei Tai? The policy
Action Leadership Team.
There you go, the Action Leadership Team. How could I forget? And I'm really fortunate to have been working the last couple of weeks with an intern for the PALT, who is from, right now he is in Florida, so it's almost past his bedtime. But we have Everest Deschamino, and he has just been, he's gonna be our guru on social media, because he's under 30, as far as I can tell. He might even be under 20. So I think he's going to be great helping the rest of us who don't use social media as much as younger people might. Anyway, so welcome everyone, and we'll get started.
Hi, everyone.
See the agenda there. Hello, Everest. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Wei Tai. Our group lost a friend, but
yeah, thank you, Leslie. Yeah, we wanted to start off today's meeting with on a sad note, unfortunately, that we lost a member of our chapter, Steve Sanders, who became a dear friend of mine and many of us here over the last year. He has been hospitalized with an infection very suddenly. I had talked to him on February 23rd in a whole, normal meeting, and we talked about planning for the year. And unfortunately, he was hospitalized with an infection a few days later, and he died on March 16th from that infection. Just a heartbreaking, totally unexpected for his wife and daughter. I do want to say that he made such great contributions to this policy action team. He's been a lifelong grassroots environmental activist who worked in Sacramento for 30 plus years with local governance. And he loved coming to work with us because of our focus on working with local governing bodies and asking them to take action on climate change. His wife thanked us by saying that some of his most meaningful times and days was the friends he met through the Climate Reality Project, and he felt very rewarded by this work. So we're very sorry and sad to lose him, but we will, and his spirit will continue on in the work that this very group, the Policy Action Team, working with local governments to enact climate mitigating policies. I think we can carry on his legacy and his work. So just a moment of silence here to remember our good buddy, Steve Sanders here from Berkeley.
Thank you, Wei Tai. He was really a great partner for all of us. I think we all learned a lot working with him. He was a dear man, very sweet. So our goals for tonight, really to inspire each other and be inspired, to refresh on the tips for creating impact as a group, sharing best practices, and with Everest's help, exploring social media to amplify that impact. So the meme that stalled 1,000 ships, you guys probably have all seen this. It just looked so impossible to see that. I don't even know that whatever that is, that earth mover is probably the size of a house, and yet looks so puny next to the enormous ship that was stuck in the Suez Canal until today. And it's so easy to feel exactly like that, I think, when we're talking about working on climate change and trying to move this enormous issue and effort in front of us. So I don't know, I sort of thought that this was a rather appropriate image for us to grapple with what we're doing, and also recognize that it really does take sometimes those little tiny things like little tugboats and sometimes earth movers to make big change happen. So we're dealing with the enormity of what's in front of us. And I think for most of us, we've figured out that it's really all about relationships. It's about passion, of course, but it's trust. It's building those collaborative relationships, and believing that all of us actually have a role to play and each of us really can make a difference. So how do we make friends and influence people? Take a look at this video. I thought this was pretty interesting.
Of a lot of social change, and especially in relation to the environment, I think of what I call the 4 levels of action. The first is individual action. The second is action with my friends and family, the folks I'm directly connected to. The third is community and local institutions. And the fourth is the economy and policy change and changing laws. And so, in the environment, level 1 is, I recycle, I use less, I drive less. Level 2 is I get me and my family to do that. And maybe I put solar panels on my roof, and maybe I join a community supported agriculture, a CSA. Level 3 is that's when I start to do things like change the way the schools that I'm connected to, right? The way that I change my workplace, that maybe I organize in my town, right? To start moving towards a community solar array, or that I start to, I go into the industries that I work in and I make changes. And the idea for level 3 for me is the place where it's at the level of institution and groups, but where I'm still known as a person, And so the example, and the other model that I give for level 3 is, if I can get in touch with a person who's in charge within about a week and get a meeting, that's what I would consider to be about level 3. Like with some work, I can get a brief meeting with the mayor of my town, right? And then level 4 is, like I say, policy. It's change the law. It's write your congressperson. It's boycott this product. And the environmental movement, I think in a lot of ways, has given the message that's been at level 1 and level 4, right? Change individual actions, or sign this petition, lobby this person, right? And the thing is, I think our greatest impact is actually at level 2 and level 3, and especially level 3. And the reason that I say that is, if I change a local institution or something that I'm involved in, I'm not just impacting my life, I'm impacting the lives of hundreds or maybe thousands of people. I'm also changing an institution, and then other institutions can take a look at that and take the model for that change. So an example is, like, say I get the local school to put solar panels on their roofs. I can actually get that done. That's a project that I can see through beginning to end in a year or 2. And I can talk to all the people who are involved in it, and I can figure out the economics of that, like how much would it save and how much would it work and what would the cost be. I can organize and create a coalition to get it done, and I can do this part-time. I don't have to do this full-time. But the conversation that I have, that I get to generate at the school, is a big piece of the change, right? That the conversation with the principals and with the students and with the PTA is as useful as the change itself. And we're getting into this idea of, oh, we could do something about this. And then when the solar panels go up, then that means all of the other schools in the neighborhood or in my city have to go, why don't we have solar panels? I mean, this school did it. And so that's a level of a change that I think that we ought to be focusing on. And I think specifically with drawdown, like there's these 100 solutions that are named in drawdown. And the question is, how are they going to be implemented? But one of the things that the project did is that they looked at projects that were happening at what I've heard Paul Hawkins call from the middle out, not just from the grassroots up, not just from the top down, but from most of those changes were organized by people working at level 3.
How do we move things that are bigger than we are? I think that what Will Grant was talking about is that middle out, and the levels 2 and 3 are really where we do have an awful lot of power and a lot of impact. And I'd like to just call your attention, and we'll put these in the chat before you guys go into the breakout rooms. But last summer, Steve Sanders and I developed tip sheets for all of our members, how to organize a squad or how to join a squad. We want to invite new people in, how to gather information and choose who you're going to talk to, building skills for the squad to really be able to present well and be articulate and convincing, and how to actually make that request for climate policy action. So I'm just going to talk very, very quickly. We made tip sheets, and on one side, it's the quick checklist. On the other side, I assure you, there's so many words, you don't want to know about it. But we really talked about how to reach out to the community. And I think in the last year, it's come to everyone's sort of up in our minds about, really, it's not just about us, it's about our entire community. It's about all the people who are around us and not just the people we are closest to. Equity and inclusion and diversity really became top of mind conversations in the last year. And I think that that's something that all of us need to pay attention to. A lot of the people who are in climate reality are older, whiter, and I think bringing in younger people, people from different communities and different backgrounds is something that we should really put some effort into. So I'm just bringing that up. I think that this is something we're much more aware of now, finally, and I want to encourage everyone to sort of think that way. I think that it builds a much more, I don't know, vibrant approach. And I think there's more credibility when we go in front of businesses or our elected leaders, whether it's at the school or a city council. So that's something that our group who end up in the room number 1 for the first breakout will be talking about. Gathering information, one does not have to be an expert, obviously, but being credible, knowing what you're talking about requires a lot of research. And we've got some incredible squads that are really, they've just been amazing at that. Robin Mahler is going to be leading the facilitation in the second breakout room, talking about how to do that particular work, doing the research, becoming very credible, very knowledgeable, and being able to approach staff and the electeds. I think the bottom line is making their jobs easier. Building skills is something that we all work on, we all practice. None of us are ever done, but talking with the people we want to convince and building relationships, sort of that idea of moving at the speed of trust. You know, when you walk in and make a demand, it's not generally as well received, perhaps. But I think that, you know, most of us are fairly good at presenting, but when we're passionate about something, sometimes that passion can overwhelm the people that we're talking about. And building alliances, of course, it is never just us. There are lots of people working on these issues that we're focused on and who we can really build cohort groups with. So those are some of the things that we'll be talking about in the third breakout room. And then getting to the meeting itself. Wow, lots of preparation, lots of work. One of the things that seems to be the most compelling is telling a story, making it personal, really connecting from the heart. I think one of the adages that I kind of like is the longest distance is between the heart and the head. And if you connect with the heart, that distance shrinks and people really start to move. I've seen electeds really kind of dismiss a lot of the grown-ups, but when high school students come in and ask for the same thing, they're just immediately taken by it. So that's, I think, one of the things that that goes back to diversity, you know, really bringing in lots of different voices and coming together. So we're going to break into our breakout rooms in just a minute. This is what they used to look like. Zooming, I hope we've all gotten used to Zoom. Room 1 will be that first tip sheet, room 2, and you're going to be assigned randomly. So you'll meet new people. And I think the goal here is that we want people from different parts of the Bay Area to meet each other, from different squads, to share what were the best practices, what wall did I hit, who's got some ideas about how to get up and over or around or under that wall, successes and failures, give advice, and share what you know. And don't be shy. If you don't know stuff, ask questions. So we really hope that this is fruitful. Yeah, I think that we'll bring you back into the main room in about 15 minutes. And Wei Tai has just randomly assigned you. So good luck. Introduce each other. Well, quick introductions, right? We don't have a lot of time, so you want to give just your name and the county you're from, the issue that you're most interested in or already working on. And remember to mute yourself when you're not talking. If the dog is barking in the background, that can be kind of distracting, and let others speak. So we'll give you a 2-minute warning, maybe a 1-minute warning. I'm not sure. I think it's 2 minutes, right, Wei Tai? And then we'll all come back in, and then we will go right into part 2 with Everest about social media. So, all right, off we go to breakout rooms.
Okay, here we go for 15 minutes.
Do we have everyone back? Looks like it. Wonderful. I hope that was a good, quick meet. So how do we work from the middle out, and how do we really have an impact in those 2 levels and the 4th as well? You know, it's getting the word out beyond our immediate circles and our immediate squads and beyond our families. How do we have more influence? Well, social media, and I'm on Facebook, but not on too many others. And I frankly have resisted that. I'm not going to use Twitter. And I know some of you use all of these and use them really well. But Everest Damashino is going to really show us how it's done. We're going to use Instagram as the model, and take it away, Everest.
Hi guys, my name's Everest. Thank you, Leslie. I'm going to be telling you guys how to use social media, namely Instagram, how to use it at your squad level, and how to gain a following and just kind of encourage each other and show off the great work that you guys have been doing. When we played Never Have I Ever, actually every single person, 100%, said that they had changed their behavior because they learned that how it affected the environment. That's fantastic, right? That's what we want. Everyone has done the same thing. Social media is a great way to show that off and to show people who haven't changed their behavior what you've done. And we're just going to be going over how to kind of create a following and be a leader and a follower at the same time in those aspects.
Do you want me to drive it, or you got it?
Yeah, you can do it, Leslie. Next slide. So this is a great video.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not 2 nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So that's kind of a funny video.
If you've learned a lot about leadership,
Sorry.
But, you know, it's just a silly way of showing, you know, how movements start and how many people can get in and how important followers are, right? That guy was just dancing and then suddenly there was a crowd, and that lady screaming in the background always cracks me up. But people get excited about it, and we want to show what we've been doing and get other people excited about it as well. Okay, so now if everyone could, if you haven't already, please download Instagram. This will be a key feature of our next breakout room. Basically, the goal is the squad leaders, all of your squad leaders, download Instagram and create a new account. And we will share that username and password with the squad so that everyone has access to the same account and can post on the same account whatever they want, whatever they've accomplished, whatever their squad is up to. If they have a really productive Zoom and you know, do something helpful that they can share with all the other squads that they want to show off, you know, that would be something to post. If you know, have a cute dog and he reminds you of a time that you did something environmentally conscious and you think others would be interested in that, post it. You know, we all want to see what everyone has been up to. This is a great way to just keep the community strong, keep others in the loop, celebrate and show off our accomplishments, and have a greater sense of community. And you're also encouraged to follow each other, of course, follow Climate Reality Bay Area, our Instagram, and get friends and family to follow as well so that they stay engaged, people outside of just ourselves. We can go next.
Here we go.
Okay, so this is just a quick how-to. You're going to download Instagram. Squad leaders will create the squad account. They're the only one that needs to create an account with an email or anything. Once that's been created, just share the username and password in the breakout room, and everyone should be able to download the app, put in the username, put in the password, and then be on that account and post and see others as well. And then, of course, the most fun part of the next breakout room will be deciding your name. You know, we want you guys to have a fun, clever name, something that is meaningful to your county, and that, you know, other people will want to vote on and follow.
And we're gonna in our last before we adjourn this evening, we're gonna vote on who came up with the best name, which county or which squad came up with the best name. So, and I will put all of the tip sheets are in the chat for everyone who wants to download them, and we'll be adding a couple of other things that might be helpful for using social media. So I'll be putting that in the chat while you guys are in the break room.
So what happened if you already have a Instagram account? You want us
Great.
to open a new one?
So you can go to your settings in your Instagram account if you can find it. And then once you've decided on a username and password, you can simply go to the settings all the way to the bottom and go add account. And it will just say, put in username, put in password, and then you'll have 2 accounts on the same phone, on the same app. It's very simple, very easy to use.
So you want us to create a separate account?
You'll
Okay.
just be able to log into
An account for the squad.
Yes.
The squad already has one. Don't create another.
Yes.
Everest, I'm not seeing settings on my Instagram account. Can you tell us where to find them?
Yes. Everyone, here's my profile picture. It's very nice. Up here in this little box, there's 3 stripes. You click on the stripes, settings pops up. Click on settings. That'll take you to settings. Go all the way down, and then it will go to add account right there. And if you downloaded it for the first time just now, that will be the very first thing that pops up when you launch the app. It'll be login. Now, don't worry, you don't have to put anything yet. Just wait till you're in the breakout room. And then once you decide on a username, once the squad leader has created that account, you will be able to use those credentials to log onto that account and go from there.
I know
How?
there's-
Wait, can I ask you a question? Right. So I already have an IG account. So we're gonna have to. So how do I know the squad's name and stuff like this? Because I have a.
You'll create that. You'll make the squad name and stuff, and then you'll be able to add the account by going into settings and add the account.
When you say you're going to create it, it means that when you go to the breakout room, the first assignment is a creative assignment where you guys have to come up with a name for your group, right? You have to think of a name, decide real quick, like Contra Costa, what are we going to call ourselves? Or the San Francisco Squad? Are we going to be, the Flying Eagles or whatever you're going to call yourself? This is just a workshop for fun. It doesn't have to be like the perfect name. It's just really going through the exercise of doing it. So we all go through the motions of learning something new.
We can go to the next slide too. This is just quick tips and tricks. Nothing super important here. When you post, remember use hashtags. That just makes sure that people who are looking at that hashtag will see your post. They don't need to be following you. Like hashtag climate right here, hashtag go green, hashtag climate reality project, hashtag Bay Area, all that good stuff. And then use images, right? Post your Zoom, post a pretty picture you drew. We want to see what you guys have been up to from a visual artistic standpoint. Next. And then free social media tools. I mean, this is all pretty simple, pretty easy to use. And then if you guys are super into it, you can go to any of these. Your squad leaders have this PDF file as well that will teach you a lot more on just how to create, manage, engage, track. This is for the real pros out there who are super excited about social media.
Or who want to learn. And I'll be putting this in the chat as well, so everyone can download it from the chat along with the tip sheets that are in there as well. What do you think? Are we ready to go into the?
Well, let's go next slide quickly. And then, so here is our quick agenda. Just before we jump in, you can see kind of how it works. You'll have 20 minutes. Breakout number 2 agenda will look like this. Have a quick introduction. Just settle in. And then everyone should go around and talk about the tip sheet that they learned from the first breakout. Meaning, tip sheet 1, everyone who was in tip sheet 1 speaks for 3 minutes, says what you learned, and share with everyone else so that everyone in the meeting will get full knowledge of all the tip sheets. And then for the last 6 minutes, think of a fun Instagram name. At the bare minimum, make sure you come up with a username and password just so that everyone ultimately will have access to that account when they download it. And then at most, if you guys are really, really ambitious, just devise a loose plan of when you want to update your Instagram. Is everyone free to update whenever they want? And what are you working on as a squad that would be helpful to post and let others know that you're doing? Excellent. And now we can go into rooms.
Okay. And then we can vote. So let's see, Contra Costa, you go. What's your name?
Oh, hold on 1 second. I don't know if everybody's back yet.
Okay.
Just give
All
them
right,
a couple
time has
seconds.
elapsed. We're done.
You were done? Okay. I think we're all back.
All right. So let's start with Contra Costa. What's the name you chose?
Contra Costa Champions.
The Champions. All right. And the next one. Oops, that didn't work. Why does
We can't vote for ourselves.
No, you can't vote for yourselves. All right. And Marin Sonoma?
Good question. It would be nice if we could save our
You
chat.
can say it. You
I
just
can
can't write
say
it.
it's Maso BEV. Or
What is
Bevy.
it?
I'm sorry, it's Maso Bevy. BV?
Could you spell
Maso
that?
BV.
Maso.
Maso BV.
All right. And San Francisco. San Francisco.
Zero carbon SF.
All right.
I like it.
Okay. And what about San Mateo and the rest of the gang?
It's SM Calls, which stands for San Mateo Climate Action Leaders League.
Oh, wow. Okay. Say that again.
I like
I'll
that.
write it down. SM Calls.
SM. Okay.
So San Mateo Climate Action Leaders League.
Got it. Great. Okay.
Oh.
And Solano.
I don't think there was an S at the end of that.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Do you want an S?
No, it was just SMCALL.
Got it. Okay. Solano Napa.
Hi there. Well, we really struggled, but because we have a couple of, we had one millennial and one Gen Y. We are going to call ourselves the Regeneration.
All right. Did you all have fun?
Lovely time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Is Alameda in the mix here? Is someone from Alameda, or were you guys moved into other rooms?
No, they had a room.
They did. All right. Alameda, someone from Alameda.
We're the Berkland Genesis.
All right. So I think I got this into the chat, sort of. I'm not sure all the spelling is correct, but there it is. So now we vote. What is the best name? I hope you guys had fun with this.
This is pretty hard.
Can't vote. You cannot vote for your own squad. So Contra Costa Champions, the Marin Sonoma Maso BV. I think that's right. San Francisco, the Zero Carbon SF. San Mateo, SMCALL. Solano, the Regeneration. Alameda, the Brooklyn Genesis.
I can be bought.
I brought chocolate.
There you go. Oh, you're easy.
I work for wine.
I have wine.
All right, we've 81% voted, 88% voted. Almost all votes are in. Give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to get your vote in. And here we go.
I'm sorry. Oh.
Oh, okay. The winner is Leslie. You're on mute.
I'm not anymore. No, Alameda, the winner. The winner is Alameda. That's actually a great name, you got to admit. The Berkland Genesis, Oakland and Berkeley. All right, well, let's do one more. Excellent. Well, thank you all. You know, we look at things that seem insurmountable, and I just want to just emphasize before we sign off that no matter how daunting our work on climate action is or seems, we can actually move things that seem impossible. And this is such a great group. I want to thank Wei Tai for all your help. Everest, you're a great partner. It was really fun working with you. So remember the levels of influence, levels 2 and 3 and 4, and collaboration and social media to amplify all the great work that all of you are doing. And remember, you can call on any of the squad leaders or the people in the PALT whenever you feel stuck. So thank you all so much. And unless there's something else for the good of the order, good night.